Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mama's Legacy podcast. I'm joined here with Jay,
What's up?
and I'm joined here with Jude.
Hi.
Thank you. Great energy, guys. So Jay's going to start off with a little Q&A here. Jay, the floor is yours.
All right, so pretty much, Max, I wanted to ask you a question. Since you are a newly acquired Orlando Magic fan after the Vucevic trade and all that, and after seeing all the backlash from like the Lakers fans after the LaMarcus Aldridge incident, um, so my question to you is, how do you see like Orlando's future? Like, do you think like it's going to be a long type of rebuild? What do you think about the assets such as Markel Fultz, Cole Anthony, um, like possibly trading Terrence Ross to a contender, stuff like that? Like anything that you want to name.
First things first, I'm great to be a Magic fan. I think Jonathan Isaac, he's a lockdown defender. He can
Mm.
score. He's injured. When he comes back, he's going to be playing out of his mind. Markel Fultz, when he comes back, I believe is going to be a walking triple double. This man gets better every year. Everybody was low on him. We got him for basically nothing, and he's playing out of his mind for us. I think the addition of Cole Anthony was really nice. I think he's going to come and I think he can average 19 points a game easily. I kind of hope we keep Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross is an out of this world scorer. I hope we give Mo Bamba some more minutes playing alongside Wendell Carter. I think Dwayne Bacon is an amazing defender. Robert Franks, I think he's going to keep getting better. James Ennis, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but it's whatever. Michael Carter Williams, I think he still has a lot of talent in him. I know he's 29, but I still think he has a good chance to become somebody pretty good. Churma Okiki, I can't say it all. I hate saying this stuff wrong, but he's got a lot of talent. He's only 20 years old. I think he's 22 years old. I think we're fine. I think Otto Porter is going to walk. I think Gary Harris, the addition we got at the trade deadline from the Nuggets, was an amazing pickup. And I think this team's very, very young and has a lot of talent. And they own older draft picks for the next 7 years. I think the Orlando Magic are going to be in the playoffs by next year. If everybody's healthy and we get a top pick, I think we're going to be in the playoffs next year, and I think we will have a championship within the next 6 years.
Yeah, Orlando's in like a very it's such like a fast rebuild type setting, because like just last year it was facing Milwaukee as like the 8th seed. And like Orlando took a game and everyone was saying, "Oh my God, are they going to upset Milwaukee?" Just like immediately, because like in that time it was like the bubble, and then Portland was beating up on the Lakers, and like the Lakers could not hit a single shot, and Giannis had like a really bad game in that Orlando playoff, like the first game,
Mm-hmm.
and then he like just stepped up and you know pretty much kicked like the entire team's ass every single other game. Um, Another thing that I want to touch on, and this is something that I've like I just knew like 2 seconds ago. Um, I did not realize how good like Tobias Harris really was this season. Like I knew he was good. I knew that he was like a really great like third option pretty much. But like I didn't think that he was near 50, 40, 90. Um like when I say near, I mean he's like 50% of the field. He's over 40% from three, and he's around like 89% from the free throw line. Meanwhile, like being, a solid defender, and yeah, he's just been a very like overall good player so far in the season. Um, what do you think about that?
I think so. I love Tobias Harris, but he's pretty on and off. Just against the Nets, he shot 64% from the field and 66 from 3 point. But the game before that, he shot 36% from the field. I think he's very on and off, but he has definitely stepped up in his role. I think he's going to be the X factor come playoff time. I do believe that Tobias Harris could push the 76ers over the Brooklyn Nets if Kevin Durant is not healthy come playoff time. I mean,
Yeah, like
I'll further this a little bit more. Uh, the Brooklyn Nets have only played 7 games with the big three together. if they don't get that chemistry going with all three of them on the court soon, it's not going to happen. And this Philadelphia team, they won a ton of games when Embiid was out. I think this Philadelphia team has undeniable chemistry, has an undeniable bench. I think they could beat the Nets. So I think Tobias Harris is the X factor come then, and Tobias Harris is out of the world right now playing for the Sixers. I think this is his best season by far.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch just a little bit more on Philadelphia, and then I'm gonna like try and move on to something else. One thing that's like very underrated, or well, not really underrated. It was talked about heavily like at the start of the season, but Philadelphia did a complete turnaround on every single criticism that they faced yesterday. I mean, not yesterday. Wow, I'm stupid, but like last year. Like they were obviously receiving criticism for Tobias Harris's contract and Al Horford's contract, and they had a lack of shooters. The most notable ones being Embiid, and then like Josh Richardson, who right now I'm pretty sure he's very bad,
He's
at least
bad
on this season. Al Horford, who's obviously very aged and just didn't need that contract in any whatsoever sense. And what they've done since that moment, they've put Seth Curry on the team, they've put Danny Green on the team, they've added like a little bit more like big boy center depth in Dwight Howard, and they filled out the team with veterans and people who can shoot, which is exactly what they needed for a playoff push. And when you consider they also have like people like Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle, who are also pretty good like options for either like scoring and defense, Philly is a stacked team, and they're going to be one of those teams that like is probably going to be one of the biggest contenders for the Brooklyn Nets to get past.
No, definitely. This Philadelphia team made a ton of flips this year. They traded Josh Richardson. They got Seth Curry back. Josh Richardson's only shooting 40% from the field this year and only 31% from three.
Yikes.
Yeah, he's shooting 42% from the field and 31 from three. He's averaging 12.2 with 2.8 assists a game. Seth Curry, he was shooting 50% from three at one point this season. They made a big upgrade there. They got rid of Al Horford for Danny Green. I'm not the biggest Danny Green fan, but that man can shoot. You got rid of Al Horford's terrible contract. This Philadelphia team did a complete flip of the roster, and their record shows it. They're the one team in the East that you could say, hey, the Brooklyn Nets, they should be worried. Now, I know you hate hearing this. The Toronto Raptors have probably been the most disappointing team over in the East, in my opinion, with how many games they've lost. You can't deny the change from last year to this year, roster wise, wasn't that much.
I think that. I'll let him go.
If you look at the Raptors the year before Kawhi came, they were just a basic purgatory playoff team. It was really Kawhi's driving factor, I think, experience final wise, that really carried him to the finals. But I really think the main reason they won that finals is solely Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
He came in a lot of big games, and that's all I got to say, really. So.
Well, yeah, but
Leonard, they had no.
Last year they still made the playoffs, and they made a pretty deep run.
Made the playoffs, but not the leading factor in Kawhi Leonard to really get him through the playoffs.
Well, I mean, humbly, I don't think Kawhi was the leader of that team. It was Kyle Lowry.
In terms of like floor generalship,
I really think he was more or less de facto. He was like de facto leader of that team during their final run.
Yeah, I'm gonna comment on that real quick. So let me just say it like this: the entire reason that the Clippers have people like Patrick Beverley and Rondo is because the Clippers need a floor general. Kyle Lowry was that floor general during like that entire run. And I understand that he had a few moments where he wasn't that good. I understand that like the Raptors as a whole, during that Philadelphia series, I will say they got 100% carried by Kawhi. Yeah. That is coming from a Raptors fan. They said it themselves. Fred VanVleet, for example, he noted, and he like pretty much said, yeah, we got carried. We got to do better from now on. But in like general, the main thing that they were missing last year in the playoffs during that Celtics thing, number one, Pascal Siakam did terrible.
Yes.
It's simple as that. Marc Gasol, he also had a huge drop off. He was taking Kelly Olynyk type shots, if that makes any sense to you, and he wasn't really doing anything but just getting bullied by Kemba Walker in pick and roll situations. Another major factor for this year is just they've been hit hard. Like, if you look at it, every single Raptors fan will say this. The Raptors are like third or second in teams affected by COVID the most. For a number two factor, they lost pretty much their entire like center depth, and right now all they have is like Chris Boucher and Yuta Watanabe, and now they're actually running like OG Anunoby and Pascal at center, which I think everyone can tell probably isn't a great decision, because right now, like, the thing that the Raptors need desperately is just rebounds. That's the thing that they're getting killed by the most.
I want to intervene real quick. At the trade deadline, why didn't the Raptors make a push for an actual good big man? Not even a good one. They could have. I felt like JaVale McGee would have been a great fit for y'all.
I have no idea. I'm not the person who does all that.
Oh, you're not the GM of the Raptors? I got the wrong guy on the podcast.
Yeah. But I think every single Raptors fan wanted someone like JaVale McGee. We like at that point, like, we were desperate enough. We would get like Andre. No, I was about to say Andre Drummond, but we did want Andre Drummond. I think most Raptors fans were also just desperate for any type of center that couldn't do anything else but rebound. So Andre Drummond, we had like, I think a few of us wanted like DeAndre Jordan from like Brooklyn in exchange for some stuff. Just literally anyone who can.
Aaron Baines has played terrible.
It's just like what's his name? Torian Prince said. You grab the ball with two hands and bring it down, and that's considered a rebound.
They got guys who could do that.
Yeah.
No guys.
Yeah, Aaron Baines has played terrible this year.
Oh yeah, he's definitely like. I think Aaron Baines fan club on Twitter has taken the most heat from that. They're. Oh god, I don't want to get into all that mess.
They're still on Twitter?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
They deactivated.
They might have. I haven't kept up with that. I normally don't look at Twitter that often unless I'm like responding to messages or just like fucking around, you know. Yeah. Another reason that like the Raptors haven't been as good this season is because they're playing every single game as an away game. Like, what? I mean, it's a Canadian team and you're playing in Tampa Bay, and at the start of the season there were people in Tampa Bay who were rooting against the Raptors. So take it as this: you have been struck by COVID, the worst out of most teams other than like the Heat and all that stuff, and then you combine that with having every single game as a hotel game, and then you have fans who don't really support you that much, and then you have front court depth that looks like basically what the Celtics did before they got Tristan Thompson.
I mean, how would you say Pascal Siakam's played this season for y'all?
He's done everything right, but hit shots that would mean like we win the games, you know?
I believe he's 0 for 4 on game-winning shots this year.
And it's just like the craziest thing, because like Raptors fans all believe like this is the curse we get for that game 7 shot, you know? Like it just rolls around the rim like 7 times and just says, nope, screw you. So that's pretty much Raptors luck so far.
Well, speaking of injuries though, I'm gonna go to Jude on this one. So Houston right now, Sterling Brown's out, Daniel House is out, Eric Gordon is out, David Nwaba is out, DJ Augustine is out, and Dante Exum is out. Do you think the Houston Rockets have been arguably the worst hit team because of the short off season and COVID?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Great answer. Great answer. Love this guy. This guy knows his stuff.
I'm so sorry.
Jay, you know your Rockets. Do you think the Rockets have been the worst affected team due to the short offseason and COVID?
No, that's not the reason at all. In my opinion, at least that's not the reason at all. Because like even if they had people like Sterling Brown or whatsoever, it's not like they're gonna go
Yeah,
like
they're
70.
not making a big
They,
start. I mean,
they're not
but
going
yeah,
73-9. Like it, it doesn't really make a
yeah.
difference if they have like Jay Tate or Christian Wood or anything like that. They're still not going 73-9 simply because it's the Rockets right now, and they really want that fourth pick or like
I mean,
somewhere in the top
But
four. You
right
know?
now, I have to say, I don't think they're gonna get it. They keep winning very. They'll win one game out of there, and it just hurts them because they can't get past the Timberwolves and losing record. So I don't think
they
they will get
they
it.
they actually have they actually have.
Just
I
now?
wanted
They're tied with the worst record in the league.
No, they have one less loss.
Yes, but
So,
yes, but they're tied with the wins for the worst record in the league.
um also want to mention this with the whole Rockets thing. Uh, so I had a conversation with another Rockets member, or actually two Rocket fans member, and pretty much like we were discussing like how different the season was from like the start to the beginning. Because obviously at the start of the season, before Christian Wood
yeah,
got like his ankle roll and all that,
we had some high
um,
hopes.
they were looking to be like a scary 7 seed, scary 8 seed, scary 6 seed team. And they had the identity as second in defense. And now they're getting like blown up by like 20.
Yeah,
So
I will say
that's
this though, real
just,
quick.
When I saw them break their franchise record or tie their franchise record for most threes, I had some very high hopes going to the season. But I knew it would have slowed down for some reason, and something was going to happen. For example, Christian Wood getting injured, and it would just slow down. Because right now he is basically our franchise player, and also we've had a lot of trades, and the chemistry is just not there. So I knew this was going to happen.
yeah. And then even with the guys who are like there now because of the trades, like Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley, you got to think
Kellen looks
they
not
don't
playing
really.
bad.
Oh yeah,
They're
I
not
wasn't gonna
bad,
say
but
I wasn't gonna say anything about them being bad. I was gonna
Oh,
say, like Kelly Olynyk is on like the last year of his contract, and he's gonna be like fighting, putting a good stat, so he can impress like a contending team for next year, and then hopefully he'll get a ring or something like that. So it's coming down to like I feel like most of the guys that they got, like Kelly Olynyk's not staying. Let's just put that clear.
yeah,
Like he's way too old to stay into a rebuilding franchise. Um, Same with Avery
Avery
Bradley.
Bradley, he's too
Like
old.
he's way too old. Like the way too old.
Not saying that
Um,
it's decreasing his skill level. It's just saying he's not going to stay here, which I don't blame.
well, no,
yeah.
this Rocket team, honestly, I believe could be in the playoffs next year if they get a top 4 pick.
Well, that's our problem.
What the?
And my dad made this comment, and he told me the problem with Houston sports is that there's no culture behind it. Like if you go into like East Coast teams, their fan base is like dedicated. Like Boston, New York Knicks, they're dedicated. So it's almost in a sense like there's no market to come to Houston. It's like the only way where you can actually get good. I know that's like a bad sentence structure, but it's to get to the draft. And the problem is we have, other than this fourth round or this fourth overall pick that we might not even get, it's just we're gonna have a tough time. Like our free market, our free agency draw is not that high, really. In my opinion.
I can agree with that to an extent. Houston is not a destination that a lot of free agents
Yeah,
look at and say, "Hey, I want to go down to Houston." I mean, the taxes wise, it's not bad, but if you're going to come to Texas for tax wise, there are two other teams that
yeah.
I think have a better appeal to it, especially
Dallas,
Luca being there and Popovich being in San Antonio. I think those two are better destinations to go if you're a free
and right
agent.
now, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry, but Dallas is looking the future of Texas sports in basketball. It's obviously they have a
Well,
very young, vibrant team. They got two
he,
great young players,
well,
and they're both from
Porzingis
Europe,
isn't
so
playing
that's
that
going to
well.
drive a lot of European talent to come. Like it's a very destination team for Europe, and that's my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't sleep on the Spurs either. Like they have
Well,
a ton
nah.
of very
Yeah,
young guys where
they
they
have really
can
good young
rip.
players, and they still
Like
have veteran Demar. I mean,
yeah, Rudy Gay. They just got rid of LaMarcus Aldridge for a bag of fries.
yeah,
They bought him out.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
So
If Greg is still there in the next
I
5 years, I see them breaking the fifth seed.
yeah, I think like in the beginning of the season they were like contending for like the sixth seed,
I mean, they're still
but
the
now they've
plan.
yeah, they're still in the plan, but like they were a lot better before. But like the thing with the Spurs that's very interesting is that like they have old and young players, and those old players just have to like eventually go, you know. But like that doesn't mean, you know, the young players also aren't getting like any playing time because DeJounte Murray has been a beast, and I've always loved DeJounte's like game. Like he's a very like great two-way player. And then they have Keldon Johnson, who earlier in the season was like lighting it up. And he had like one game where it was like 20 points and 17 rebounds
Lonnie
as a
Walker's there
like
too.
6'6"
Yeah,
guard.
he's there
Oh yeah,
too. He's a very good,
Lonnie's
fast, athletic player.
Yeah,
I
I
really like
and
him.
they only have 3 players over 30, and I think with DeMar, I think they'll do a sign and trade for him. I don't think they let DeMar walk for nothing.
And not to forget, is Brenton Forbes still on the Spurs, or did he go?
I
I
think Bryn Forbes is
Yeah,
on the
he's on the
Milwaukee.
Bucks now, right? Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
on the Bucks.
he's in Milwaukee.
They should have gotten rid of Brent Forbes. I've always loved Brent Forbes. He's a great just role player shooter. He reminds me a lot of Kyle Korver if he could expand his 3-point game, where you could just sit him on the
Okay.
wing and just give him the ball and he can make a three. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I guess he could be a good wing scorer.
Yeah, hold up.
I mean, Derek White's also there. Derek White, I think
I
he's going to
forgot
keep
about
getting
him.
better. I think this team is very young and has a lot of talent. I think Rudy Gay, I think he's going to be gone. I don't know why
Yeah,
Dang's there. Dang's going to be gone. And DeRozan, I believe, is going to be gone after this.
hold up. I was like thinking about Derek White. I think Derek White is going to be like he's going to be. If I'm going to compare like the future of San Antonio, Derek White, my ceiling for him is like a Marcus Smart level player. I think that's a fair.
Ooh. I
I
got him a
think
little
that's
bit
fair.
higher. I got him a little bit higher.
No, I mean, I think he could be higher, obviously, but that's what I'm setting like his potential as. Like, you know, he's
I
a
can
very
see
good defensive
him.
player. He can be like a very really good 3D player. Um, and he's just like really gritty, you know. Like I think that's going to be like one of the Spurs' main identities in the future because all like the young players that they have right now are very gritty and they're very like you know, dirty type players where they don't care. They'll like dog out, you know. So I think that's going to be like one of their identities in the future, um, which is like really cool to see because like now, you know, there's not that many people in the NBA other than like you know the Draymonds and the Marcus Smarts and people like that who like do the everything plays, you know.
Okay, if you're San Antonio, what 3 players do you keep?
Um,
Moving forward, you just got it. 3 players from the entire roster you build around. Who do you pick?
I'm taking 100% for sure. I'm keeping DeJounte Murray. Definitely keeping Keldon Johnson. He just has a ton of flashes of potential. I also forgot to mention Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is very good. He's like showed out during his rookie season. He's been very like under the radar since you know he's playing in San Antonio. Not that many people are like checking into what Devin Vassell is doing just because
Mhm.
he's playing in San Antonio. But he's been really good. I wouldn't put him over like Derek White in terms of people to keep, but
Well,
hey,
Lonnie.
Lonnie, I think. I mean, I just don't see him over Derek White. Like, I think Lonnie's good, but I think
I think Lonnie
his
has
main thing
that
is,
higher upside.
yeah, he definitely has a higher upside. He's incredibly athletic. Like his vertical is just through the roof. Um, but for like right now, you know, it's like think of like, would you rather draft Cole Anthony versus like LaMelo? Like that was like something that was predicted like early on before like you know
I'd
a lot of
honestly,
research got picked.
I'd go Lonnie, Murray, and Keldon.
Fair enough.
I think Lonnie, just because of the higher upside. I think Derek White, we kind of know what he's going to be. He's 26. We know he's just going to be a pretty good defender who can shoot the ball. That's what he's going to be. Lonnie, I don't think it's very high chance wise, but I do believe he could be an all-star. I believe that. I believe Lonnie could be an all-star.
Lonnie reminds me a lot of like, this is a weird comparison, but just like the way he's built, the way he uses his athleticism, and obviously this is coming from a guy that has the username of Brody for three. He reminds me a little bit of Westbrook, like with a better 3-point shot. With a better 3-point shot, Westbrook.
Yeah, I definitely. He's athletic. He's one of the he's one of the more athletic guards in this league, and honestly, I think he could be an all-star. I don't know where his ceiling is yet. And I think the Spurs build around him and Murray if they were the top two. I'd take Lonnie above Keldon. I know that's a very risky take. I love Keldon to death, but Lonnie Walker, I'm very high on this man. I mean, let me check out right now. Oh, Derek White's going off right now against the Pacers. He's 16-3-2 right now. What?
Oh, nothing.
I mean, DeRozan's got 10 points. Oh, Lonnie Walker's got 0 points, and he's 0 for 3. I take that bet. Keldon might be Keldon might be the guy. I don't know.
I think Keldon's just going to be like, he's one of those players that doesn't have like the incredibly flashy stat lines, you know? Like I feel like if he blooms up to be like for like all potential purposes, I see him being like an above average near all-star player. Like I don't see him being like super amazing. He could be super amazing. Don't like put my word in concrete and say, yeah, that's it. But I think like he's just gonna be like one of those guys who could be like 25-5, you know? Like he's very just like gifted, or like, yeah, he's just very gifted at pretty much everything. He's solid defensively. He's a pretty good 3-point shooter. He has like a little bit of athleticism. I'm pretty sure he like dunked on someone earlier in the season, and it was really embarrassing. And then yeah, he's a rebounder. I think like rebounding guards are like pretty common now. They like, when you look into the history of like the NBA, you didn't used to see as many rebounding type guards, but I think, you know, with the stuff with like Westbrook and then the whole like small ballification, people like James Harden and all that, I think like rebounding centers that like, I mean, not centers, point guards have been like a lot more valued since you know, anyone who can run the floor and make the pass while also getting the rebound is pretty valuable, since that's like the entire OKC thing before, where they had Steven Adams and everyone else box out, and then Westbrook would get the rebound, and then he would make the decision, you know? So that's just something that I've noticed a lot more. It's not like all about stats. Like you don't see that many people or that many players like getting, you know, that many rebounds unless they're, you know, clearly stat padding. Andre Drummond.
Oh, hey, what's the shade for, huh?
Oh, no idea.
Well, I mean, your coughs. Then you might want to get that checked out.
Yeah, sorry. I've had a very bad case of the flu recently.
Oh, great. What's the flu called? Andre Drummond syndrome?
I think that's called on. Wait, how can I make a point out of this without getting this podcast canceled?
Let's not get this podcast canceled. It's only been 2 months, 3 months, then maybe. The Andre Drummond sucks because he sucks syndrome. Ooh, there we go.
Works for me.
Well, we're just gonna leave this one unidentified for now.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. real quick, let me